Welcome to the KnowONEcares channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Today I want to do a video about why man can't stop producing. Why we have to continue to self-improve and focus on bettering ourselves. And I wanted to really talk about 4 football players. Rest in peace to all 4 of them. Vincent Jackson, who passed away most recently, Rob Bironas, Jovan Belcher, and Chris Henry. So rest in peace to these 4 football players. And I really wanted to talk about and include these guys in my video because their deaths had common denominators. Their situations all had some of the same type of characteristics. They're blaming CTE on a lot of their deaths. But I know there were some other things that that was included, even if it was a little CTE. And I want to give man information and have them look at things from a different angle so that man will know what we should do and what we need to do in certain situations in our life and how we should deal with women correctly. So comment, like, subscribe. Watch the video to the end. Rest in peace to those fellows, and let's get it.
You might be the one that truly get me, and I might be the one you really want, and I feel it too, but you don't know what I've been going through. This is when you tell me that you're different.
Now, when you look at Chris Henry's death, he had just sustained a broken arm. So his career had already been up and down, and he was in a relationship and he had some kids. But he had broke his arm in a game against, I think it was the Ravens. And so his ability to produce and his ability to maybe play for a bigger contract had been derailed because he was out for the rest of the season. When you look at someone like, when you look at Rob Bironas, in his situation, he had been cut. He had been cut by the Tennessee Titans, and he had been looking around for new teams. And no one really was trying to pick up Rob Bironas. You look at Jovan Belcher. Jovan Belcher, he was a decent linebacker, but he had kind of hit the wall in his career also, and he was in a situation with his kid's mother, and she was acting all out of whack, doing different things, trying to irritate him. When you look at Vincent Jackson, his career was over. So they found him in a hotel room dead after a few days. All these deaths had a common denominator. When you look at Vincent Jackson, he had died from alcohol. He had drunk a lot of alcohol. Rob Bironas had a lot of alcohol in his system. So these guys were obviously under a lot of stress, and they really didn't know how to deal with not being on top like they had been, their whole life. Being an NFL football player, I'm sure you don't get told no a lot. I'm sure you get a lot of yeses. People look up to you. Little kids look up to you. Your woman is very submissive. The family's submissive. I mean, it's just a total different type of living than the average man. But in these situations, these guys had stopped producing. They had gotten to a part of their life where they wasn't, at the top of their game. They was kind of on the downhill. Rob Bironas was kind of looking for a job, and Chris Henry, he was kind of nervous about his situation with the Bengals, and Vincent Jackson had already, been out of football, but he was on the down slope. And one of the things you really want to think about is the women. Did these women really have their back? Did these women really support their man in their downhill travels of their careers? It seems like when these men were on top, when Vincent Jackson was on top, the pictures of him and his family, he was a lot happy. Jovan Belcher, you really didn't hear about any problems in his relationship when he was coming into the league. Rob Bironas, when he was, kicking the longest field goal in Titans history, you never heard about Bradshaw's daughter, So these guys, they had a high point of their life, and when they started on the downslope, you got problems in their relationship coming up. Now, when it comes to domestic violence, guys, domestic violence usually doesn't just start when someone hits another individual in a relationship. The statistics are showing right now that domestic violence is a 50-50 thing. It's being done by men and women. But the thing that really doesn't get recorded is verbal abuse. Verbal abuse usually starts from the woman long before the cops are called for a physical altercation. And so when you are in a relationship and you are really invested as a man and you have kids, and as we know, men, we tend to love very hard. Well, a lot of us men, we tend to forget how women are really biologically set up to be. They are biologically set up to be with the strongest man possible. They are hardwired to want to be with a producer, a protector, and a provider. A lot of times when women feel like they have better options, they start to act out of normality. They start to complain. They start to pick fights. They start to irritate the guy because they understand that the guy is on the downslope and he's not producing, and she feels like she can find someone better. When you look at females in general, they usually look at themselves at a higher degree than what they really are. They usually are, delusional about what their value is. And man, a lot of times when we don't have discipline in our emotions, we tend to love a woman and not really understand what value she's really bringing to us. On the second note, we tend to start to get comfortable. Now these guys, they were looking for, other jobs. Chris Henry, he had gotten hurt. But to be truthful about it, these guys, they had stopped producing. And when you stop producing, you'll start to see the people around you start to change. And when women start to change, they don't know how to really tell their man that, hey, you're not producing. What women tend to do is to start punishing the man. And you can tell in these relationships that these guys were all-star athletes. They wasn't alcoholics. But when they stopped producing, they started getting probably irritated by their girlfriends or by their wives. They started feeling like they were less of a man, so they went to alcohol. They started feeling confused about why their women are acting out, why their women are not being appreciative, why their women are not being submissive anymore, and they started acting out. So as men, we always have to know that even if we are unable to produce in one area, we should always be working on developing ourselves in another area. We should always be working on improving our finances in another area. and being creative, because the truth about it is, no matter how much you love a woman, no matter how much you tell her you love her and how much she tells you she loves you, no matter how long y'all been together, no matter none of that shit, if you stop producing as a man, if you stop providing as a man, she may stick with you for a while, but she will probably start acting out and start to piss you off and start acting masculine towards you. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because, you know, rest in peace to these guys. I mean, we don't necessarily know exactly what happened, but when you look at the common denominator in these men's lives, they had women involved. A lot of them had alcohol involved, and a lot of these guys was on the down slope of their career. And the quickest symptom they can say is CTE, but it's deeper than CTE. It's female nature. It's being on the down slope of their career and not really being able to produce or provide at the same level that they used to. But they really could have continued to produce if they had been more creative or somewhat changed their avenues. And a lot of times when men are emotionally connected to women, they are unable to make the proper adjustments in time to keep themselves at the level that they really need to be at. That's why man should always stay emotionally disciplined. It's fine to love a woman, but being in love with a woman affects man's logical thinking. And remember, women are the emotional creature. As men, we have to think logical and use our brains and be able to change and be able to make adjustments so we can continue to be producers, continue to be providers. That's what we have to do as men. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until you change your mindset, no one cares. But just know one cares, and he wants you to become the best version of yourself. I'm out, guys.